Coming up on this edition of Real to Reel.
A new hospital affiliation at Mercy brings improved care for patients. I'm Carolee McGrath. I'll have that story next.
Dan DUMAS takes a look at news out of the Diocese of Springfield. And a delicious recipe for HRUSTIKI, courtesy of Father Brian McGrath. These stories and more are just ahead on this edition of Real to Reel. Hello and welcome to Real to Reel from the Sister CARITAS Cancer Center at Mercy Hospital in Springfield. This center has just undergone an $18 million expansion, giving patients in Western Massachusetts access to cutting-edge cancer care. The grand opening of this new center is just the latest in new developments for this Catholic hospital founded by the Sisters of Providence. This summer, Mercy Medical Center forged a new partnership with St. Francis Hospital and Medical Center in Hartford, both as part of Trinity Healthcare. And as Carolee McGrath now tells us, these developments mean better quality health care while preserving a great legacy.
Dr. Mohammed Hamdani helped Sister of Providence Mary Caritas Giri do the honors at the grand opening of the new Sister Caritas Cancer Center in Springfield. The $15 million addition took 18 months to complete. Dr. Hamdani is the chair of the campaign for Sister Caritas Cancer Center. He is also the chair of surgery at Mercy Medical Center.
Anybody from any part of the society can come and get the care they need.
Dr. Hamdani, who has helped heal thousands of patients over the years, is also a cancer survivor. He was treated at the cancer center.
There were a lot of places, I could have gone to, but I knew the people who will be taking care of me in here. I know there were excellent doctors, expert in their fields, and I thought there would be no better place to go. I was told when I went for a second opinion at Dana-Farber in Boston, they told me that I had 80%, that it was all over my body, and by the grace of God, I'm still here.
The center is named after Sister Mary Caritas, the former president of Mercy Medical Center. It will now have radiation oncology and medical oncology services in the same building. The two-floor addition includes a 12,500 square foot medical oncology treatment space with 32 infusion bays and 2 private infusion rooms.
The care that will be given here and the advances that we're going to be able to make in terms of treating patients who in just a few years back had a death sentence once they were diagnosed, there's so much more hope.
Mercy Medical Center has also signed a letter of intent with Smilow Cancer Hospital at Yale New Haven Hospital. Both hospitals will now work towards a definitive agreement. Dr. Philip Glynn is the director of oncology services.
We're signing a letter of intent with Yale New Haven Hospital. And we're going to have, so that's going to be our link to clinical trials, to genomic profiling. They're a fabulous research institute. And the laboratory research that is going on now is transformative.
There's a lot happening at Mercy Medical Center. In October, the Sisters of Providence Health System, which runs Mercy, Weldon Rehab, Providence Hospital in Holyoke, and Brightside in West Springfield, announced a new affiliation with St. Francis Hospital and Medical Center in Hartford. St. Francis became the latest medical institution to join Trinity Health New England, creating a regional approach to health care. Christopher Dadles is the president and chief executive officer of Trinity Health New England.
The new world of healthcare is really significantly relies on the fact that you need scale and geographic presence to really be successful in delivering healthcare services. And what we're trying to do here in New England is create that scale and that geographic presence so that we could take care of large populations, create accountable care organizations, and have the wherewithal to be able to do networks that can be contracted with insurers to provide geographic coverage for their constituents.
The Sisters of Providence Health System has been part of Trinity Health since 2013. The National Catholic Health System is based in Livonia, Michigan. Dan Moen is the president and CEO of the Sisters of Providence Health System.
We're entering an era of population health, and it's going to be important to be part of a bigger healthcare system. So to have St. Francis join Trinity really was a dream come true.
In addition to St. Francis and Mercy hospitals, all of their affiliates will be under the Trinity umbrella, including Mount Sinai Rehab Center in Hartford and soon Johnson Memorial Hospital in Stafford Springs, which St. Francis will acquire out of bankruptcy. St. Mary's Medical Center in Waterbury will also merge with Trinity Health New England, pending regulatory approval. Earlier this year, St. Francis partnered with Yale New Haven's Smilow Cancer Center as well. Trinity has 88 hospitals in 21 states. Trinity calls each one of those regions a ministry, staying true to their Catholic mission.
We have systems in place that really focus on improving the quality of care, improving the satisfaction around the delivery of care. How do we engage in a communication with patients? How can they manage their care? And we can develop wellness programs and programs that really help them understand their health and well-being, and then have them part of the solution.
And now patients from Hartford to Springfield and beyond will have access to improved care with both the new hospital affiliation and the new sister CARITAS Cancer Center. Reporting for Real to Reel, I'm Carolee McGrath.
Thanks, Carolee. And still to come on Real to Reel, Dan DUMAS will be by with an update on what's happening in the Diocese of Springfield. And Father Brian McGrath is in the kitchen with a delicious Old World cookie recipe. These stories and more are still to come on this edition of Real to Reel.
The Chalice of Salvation, your weekly spiritual connection. I'm Passionist Brother Terrence Scanlon, your Chalice host, inviting you to take time out of your busy days and join us Sunday morning at 10. We welcome Father Ryan Sleelaw as our Mass presider and celebrate together the fourth and last Sunday of Advent. The Chalice of Salvation, your spiritual connection, Sunday morning at 10, right here on 22 News.
Butcher, baker, candlestick maker, I didn't care what they grew up to be as long as they were happy. To give up marriage and children just seems like too much to walk away from.
He seems to think he's making a real difference in people's lives, and he's so happy. Isn't that what's most important?
I never would have imagined our son as a Catholic priest.
I'm Dan DUMAS with your Real to Reel news brief. Catholics in Franklin County gathered last Sunday with Springfield Bishop Mitchell T. Rosansky to mark the start of the Jubilee Year of Mercy and open their own holy door at Blessed Sacrament Church in Greenfield. David Martin was there and filed this report.
600 people from Franklin County attended the deanery-wide penance service marking the opening of the Holy Year Door of Mercy at Blessed Sacrament Church in Greenfield. Springfield Bishop Mitchell T. Rosansky blessed the door, which was designated to be the Holy Year Door of Mercy for Franklin County.
And to walk through a door intentionally, to walk into a place that's sacred, that's filled with God's love, His mercy, and to be able to receive that, it just was a wonderful sort of a thought and a symbol.
After blessing the Holy Door, Bishop Rosansky passed through, followed by priests and deacons and all those who attended the service. Bishop Rosansky said in his homily that Pope Francis wants the Year of Mercy to be spread worldwide.
That he did not institute the Holy Year doors merely at St. Peter's or the basilicas in Rome. He asks that every diocese throughout the world designate a door or doors to be passed through. Whether we are at St. Peter's or here at Blessed Sacrament in Franklin County, those same graces abound.
Blessed Sacrament parishioner Maureen Filio has been devoted to Divine Mercy, especially because she was away from the church for a while. When coming back, she understood that God loves everyone, which has allowed her to be merciful with others.
I've been very involved with the Adoration Chapel since the beginning, and to have that chapel door be the holy door for Franklin County. I think it'll bring a lot of graces to people who walk through there and go adore our Lord in the Eucharist.
Following the service, many priests, including Bishop Rosansky, were available to hear confessions. In Greenfield, I'm David Martin.
And to learn more about the Year of Mercy, log on to our website, iobserve.org. Well, it's the end of a great teaching tradition as Sister of St. Joseph Eleanor Dooley taught her last class of deacons. Steve Kiltonick reports.
It may have been her last class, but the lives Sister of St. Joseph Eleanor Dooley has touched will last a lifetime. At a reception held December 1st at the Mount Marie Senior Residence, Sister Dooley was honored for teaching 34 years in the Springfield Diaconate program. The word deacon comes from the Greek word diakonia, which means to serve, and no one has served in the diaconate program longer. The diaconate program was instituted in 1983 when Bishop Joseph McGuire ordained 19 men as the first deacons in the Springfield Diocese. Deacon Leo Coughlin is its director.
And I asked different members of the classes, how do you describe Sister Eleanor? They either say, the most holy person I've ever met, or the most saintly person I've ever met. And I couldn't agree more.
Sister Dooley, who will be retiring, spoke about why she enjoyed teaching men in diaconate formation.
There was something about them. It was, I think, their yearning for God that touched me. They're very serious about their spiritual growth, which is so inspiring for me, to be with people who really take that so seriously. And I've really been very blessed.
At the reception, which was attended by many of her former students, Sister Dooley was presented with a cake and a photo album that included all the graduating classes.
When she would talk to us about prayer, it was like she went to a different place. Her eyes would flitter, and when she went to that place, you could just feel yourself going with her. And I think we have to emulate the same way she has modeled for us how to pray and how to live and how to be active in the world, but still be that blessing to others.
Deacon Roger Carrier said his classes with Sister Dooley were quite an experience.
Her gift is her presence. She teaches us how to be Christ-like in the world, and I think at some level that's what touches everyone that she meets. Other people will call it holiness or saintliness like we heard tonight, but it's the lived presence of God from one human being to another that I think is really her gift and her life lesson.
Sister Dooley, who recently celebrated her 65th anniversary as an SSJ, graduated from Our Lady of the Elms, where she taught for more than 36 years. She was asked what she'll miss the most about the diaconate program.
I think I'll miss the interaction with them because they say that I, contributed to their life. Well, I can't tell you how much they have contributed to my life. They've contributed immeasurably. I would hope that they would leave with a deeper appreciation for prayer and the spiritual life and the importance of that ongoing, transformation personally for each one of us, because that's what I wish for myself.
Sister Dooley will be truly missed by all of those in the diaconate program for her dedication, her wisdom, kindness, spirituality, and her smile. In Holyoke, I'm Steve Kiltonick.
In other news, the diocese marked the passing of two special persons this past week. On Thursday, Father Francis Manning was laid to rest. Father Manning had served in many parishes, as well as the director of Cathedral High School. And the diocese also bid farewell to Mr. William Bill Collins on Friday. A longtime benefactor of the diocese and numerous local charities, Collins exemplified the role of a good Catholic steward who gave his time, talent, and treasure. You can read obituaries of both on iobserve.org. And finally, the spirit of giving was in the air as religious education students at Blessed Sacrament Parish in Holyoke helped out a worthy cause. Our reporter John Thornton has more.
Back in November, religious education students at Blessed Sacrament Parish in Holyoke began a service project as a part of their confirmation. The students made more than 400 ornaments by hand. They placed the ornaments on a Christmas tree they called the Giving Tree. Blessed Sacrament parishioners were then invited to take one or more ornaments and donate a wrapped gift for each one that they took. The parishioners generously donated 400 wrapped gifts, Religious Education Director at Blessed Sacrament, Kelly Gauthier, explained what this project meant to her students.
Jesus teaches us to take care of each other, and why not, the best way to learn it is by action. So they get to see, they get to pick the names. We get the names from the Providence Ministry and the Hope Center, and they get to choose what gifts the kids have picked from, and they get to make the ornaments. It sees that, other people aren't maybe as well off as they are.
On Monday evening, the students gathered outside of the rectory and formed a line, passing presents from student to student until they were loaded onto a delivery truck. Despite the wet weather, the students were in good spirits and sang Christmas carols as they worked. Gauthier explained that the gifts were headed to the Providence Ministries in Holyoke and the Hope Center in West Springfield, and explained how they would be distributed.
The gifts for the Providence Ministry are to 100 different kids that are part of their program, and the Hope Center gifts are going to adults that are dealing with addiction.
Afterwards, the students from the confirmation class came inside to warm up, drink hot chocolate, and take a class picture. From Holyoke, I'm John Thornton.
And for all the latest news in the Catholic Church locally or beyond, log on to our news and information website, iobserve.org. That's iobserve.org. I'm Dan Dumas, and that's your Real to Reel News Brief.
Amy Poehler and Tina Fey tried to be funny in Sisters, and the most anticipated film of the holiday season is here. I saw it at a premiere in Boston, and it's worth every cent. Let's take a look at this week's Real Culture.
So that's done.
There is a comedy out there which is one of the worst films of the Christmas season. It's called Sisters. Now, Amy Poehler and Tina Fey are both great comics, and they star as sisters who find out their parents are planning on selling their childhood home. So why not have one more big party, right? Wrong. This is an over-the-top movie that is vulgar and not funny. Please don't waste your time.
We just don't want clutter anymore. Then what is this? Clutter? You don't want clutter? Clutter has a name, and it's Poggy, the Christmas tree elf. You take him.
A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away was a film called Star Wars. I was 17 and my best friends, the Bromasters, went and waited in line for hours, and I never regretted it. Now, some 40 years later, Star Wars The Force Awakens is back and takes me back to a much simpler time. First things first, I love the film. Director J.J. Abrams takes us on a wild ride with twists and turns, sorrow, and real joy. As a critic, I was informed that I could not tell the secret locked in the film, so I will not. But I will tell you that all your favorites are back. Harrison Ford and Carrie Fisher with a new hairstyle, and more stormtroopers than I can count, and a new droid that I am absolutely in love with called BB-8. The special effects are first rate. The acting and the new villains are so evil, we relish every moment. Okay, I can't say any more. The film is a great treat for the Christmas season. So go, and may the Force be with you. Yes, I know it's corny, but I could not resist.
There are stories about what happened.
It's true. All of it.
And you can see my reviews, as well as read other movie reviews, provided by the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops online at iobserve.org. That's iobserve.org. And now to recap the best performances of 2015. Brie Larson and Jacob Tremblay dazzled in the movie Room. Two-time Oscar winner Jane Fonda will receive another Oscar nomination for the film Youth. Bryan Cranston and Helen Mirren shined like diamonds in the movie Trumbo. And my favorite film of the year, Brooklyn, an absolutely dazzling, sweet, romantic comedy that everyone should see this Christmas season. I'm Mark Isa for Real Culture, wishing you a happy and healthy Christmas, and I will see you at the movies in 2016.
Hello, I'm Sharon Rulier from Real To Reel.
And I'm Brother Terrence Scanlon from your Childless of Salvation program.
We'd like to wish you and yours a very blessed Christmas season.
All of us here at Catholic Communications greatly appreciate your ongoing, faithful viewership and financial support of our ministry.
And also in a special way, your generous response to our current Christmas appeal. Thank you.
In gratitude and through the kindness of WWLP 22 News, join us Christmas morning at 11 a.m. for your very special Childless of Salvation program with Bishop Mitchell Rosansky as our presider.
And join us throughout the coming new year as we continue to bring you the good news into your homes each week. Merry Christmas and
a Happy New Year.
When we think of the Christmas season, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Well, for many of us, it's food and, of course, cookies. And this week we called on Father Brian McGrath, who has so many wonderful traditional recipes and stories to share in his kitchen. With just a few days left until Christmas, we are here in the kitchen once again with Father Brian McGrath from St. John's Parish in Agawam. And Father Brian, what do you have for us today?
Well, thanks, Sharon. Yeah, it's great to be back. So I thought for Christmas we could do a cookie recipe. And so for my mother's side, there's the Italian on her father, but her mother was a Lithuanian.
Wow.
So I thought I'd pull out a Lithuanian bow ties. We call them HRUSTIKI. So it's a pretty simple recipe. It'll take some eggs, some salt, just white sugar. We get some vanilla flavoring, some flour, sour cream, and then for the topping, it's either confectionery sugar or some honey.
This seems easy enough.
Yeah. Well, there's a couple tricks in terms of how you do stuff. One is we need not the full egg, but just the egg yolk. So we're gonna crack this up. And if you don't know how to separate an egg, it takes a little practice, and you make a few mistakes, it's okay. But you wanna take the shell and take apart the white from the yolk.
Oh, wow.
So we need 6 of these. So we take our egg yolks and what we're going to want to do is add a little bit of salt, just a half a teaspoon of salt. With baking, you want to get a little bit more precise in your measurements. With my cooking, I tend to just not use recipe.
Right, yeah.
Now the sugar is 6 tablespoons of sugar. And then you want a little bit of flavoring. I'm doing vanilla. Some people like to do rum. Some people like to do other stuff, but put in 2 tablespoons of flavoring. Now, the next step will be the flour and the sour cream. We're going to try to alternate these. So we'll put a scoop of flour. It's two cups of flour.
So it's important to mix or to alternate the ingredients. Why?
It just gets the consistency better. We're trying to get the, rather than overdo one or the other. We're doing a cup of sour cream.
I bet the Lithuanian version would use, I would think they would use sour cream. That seems like a very Eastern European.
Yeah, and what's interesting is, like, the older we get, we think of all these healthy things, and this is a rather unhealthy in terms of the modern diet, but I like it because it's Christmas time and it reminds me of family. Never too early to start having a little taste. So we get the dough all mixed together. We're going to knead it just enough to give it some texture. They call it until it blisters is what it's called. And what will happen is you'll start to see as it mixes together, it'll almost like like pull apart in its own way. So what we're going to do is we're going to take just a little bit, save the rest for the next batch.
And you still have flour on the table, so you need extra flour on the table.
Sure, keeps it from sticking. All right, so it's kind of thin, right? Maybe 1/8 of an inch thick.
Okay.
I'm going to grab a knife. What we're going to do is we're going to just cut them into bows.
So how big would these be about?
I'm making them about 3 inches long. You can make them any size you like, but...
And about maybe 1.5 inches wide, is
Right.
that? Okay.
Take it like this, and you flip it.
Oh.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
You want to try one?
Sure.
So just kind of take it and tuck it through itself. Not bad.
Hmm.
Yeah. So we put them in the oil. You see how they sink, and as they cook, they'll rise to the surface.
You want a nice hot oil, right?
Yeah, so maybe 375. It's one of the most decadent types of cookies. And the sad part is you could eat them forever. I mean, you could just keep on. So we've deep fried all our HRUSTIKI, and now it's time to put the finishing touches on it.
I have to say it smells just like the Big E. My favorite time of year.
So you can do this all different ways, but it's a simple way to take your powdered sugar through a colander. And you can kind of...
Or in my case, I would put melted butter on them and then put powdered sugar.
Take a little bit of honey. Want to try one?
I do. Thought you'd never ask.
So Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
I'm dripping everywhere.
Delicious. Good job, Father.
Thank you.
If you would like Father Brian's recipe for HRUSTIKI, you can find it on iobserve.org along with a link to the video. And for this week, that's Real to Reel. Thanks to the Sister CARITAS Center for hosting our visit today. And remember, you can always get the latest news and information about what's happening in the Diocese of Springfield and beyond on our website at iobserve.org. There you will also find a listing of all the Christmas Masses in our area churches. And among those listings is information on the Greccio, including a living manger scene, which will be presented Sunday, December 27th at St. Stanislaus Basilica in Chicopee. This great Franciscan tradition will include the retelling of the Nativity story in song and dramatic presentation. Check it out at iobserve.org. And remember, you can also follow us on our Facebook page at Catholic Communications. I hope you have a very Merry Christmas Day and join me right back here next week at the same time for another edition of Real to Reel, your window on the world around you. See you then.
Real to Reel is a production of the Catholic Communications Corporation, funded in part by the annual Catholic Appeal, and the support of you, our faithful viewers.